Good morning and welcome to Bars and Bells. My name is Ian.
And I'm Lauren. And it's not Christmas edition. Don't be fooled. It is a little chilly out, but we're here for the weekend workout where we'll play with our bodyweight strength. So you just need a little bit of space.
And maybe a balance aid, maybe that balance aid, you got it. So we'll start right on the floor. Take your time getting down. Sometimes you like that toe squat. Other times it might be that lunge, but take your time coming down. On knees, we'll hinge on those hips, accept the floor, fingertips, calluses, and hands, and just check in on those wrists. We'll come back to a more extended wrist warm-up, but first start with the head neck. Very casually, look forward, extension on the neck. From here, pull the crown of the head, or the top of the head away from the hips as you tuck your chin. Let's repeat twos of everything here as we'll go one more time, extension, looking forward, flexion, chin towards that sternum, lengthening the neck. From here, ear to shoulder. Side bend, that the nose stays in the same position, ear approaches the shoulder. Return to center and alternate to the other side. Return to center and repeat. The nose is that pivot point. The head is moving, but the neck is moving very little as you repeat one more time, lateral bend. Return center. Lastly, for the head neck, let's rotate. I'll look over my right shoulder to look towards Lauren. Then tuck a chin, lengthen out, and repeat to the other side. Looking over your alternate, or in my case, left. Twos of everything, chin tuck. Breathe, breathe, rotate, center. Last time here, rotate, center. Press the floor away. Extend those hips through. Shake out the wrists. Give them a little bit of love there. And let's just do a quarter turn at the wrists and explore the rib cage next. At the rib cage, press your heart forward like you're in that cow shape, extension through the spine. Lauren's head position is much better than mine, so if you're looking at me, gently tuck a chin and look between the hands. Then pull the shoulder blades together. Then flex, round the rib cage onto the hips, engaging the core muscles for stability, mobilizing the upper back. Now keep your head or face looking to the ground, then press your sternum or heart forward. Drive this action through the rib cage as repeat once more. Flexion, pull. Can you engage those abs right away? Then extension, heart forward. From here, let's just press through, extend the hips, have a little bit of a shakeout. Lastly, let's just examine that low back and that same flexion, tip and tuck under action. Hinge on the hips, accept the floor, fingers, calluses, and hands. Then from here, we have the tailbone tipped up. Pull on the hands to the knees and slowly tuck under the hips as if to perform a cat shape. Then press the hands forward, tip the tailbone back, avoid the sway shape, but look for a nice lumbar extension, anterior tip of those hips, and then pull as tuck or scoop under those hips, engaging the abs and the glutes. Return back to that extension position, then press on through. Get off those hands for just a quick second. And from here, Lauren, maybe little lunges.
Excellent. Let's take it to a lunge, but first, let's warm up our lunge by seated lunges. So come on down, and we'll sit in our lunge position, but in a slightly different manner. So right now we're in that 90-90. We have our shoulders facing forward, our knee is bent, leg in front of that hip, and that lateral leg is also in front of that side hip and bent at 90. You either have your flexed feet or your pointed toes, whichever's comfortable. Let's go down to our elbow. So here, we'll place our elbow on the floor, engage that pack shoulder, so lat engaged, head stacked. I like to just take that top arm across my body so I know where it is. Now, we're gonna press that back hip forward, extending it. So squeeze your back butt cheek, pushing that hip forward. And you should feel some length through the front of that hip flexor. With that arm across your chest, let's just reach long. So I want you to get out of your spine, reaching your head to the either side of the room, the other side of the room, and reach that knee away from center. Create space through your body for 3, 2. Now keep that back hip extended, keep that length, but we'll add some rotations. Right now, our head will start to rotate to look at the elbow on the floor, and then the shoulders will square up. And then the head will rotate open towards the ceiling, and the shoulders will follow. That back hip remains extended. Let's repeat one more time. Head rotates, upper body rotates. And then that head rotates open and the upper body rotates open. Stay here for a second. Keep that rotation through the upper body, but that extension through the back hip for 3, 2, and then lightly relax. Press the floor away. Come back to seated. Does it feel a little different? Feel easier, harder? Can you stack yourself up versus being over?
Using the outrigger.
And then from here, we'll rotate to the other side and same thing. However you'd like to rotate. First, we're finding this, ooh.
That's right. Ooh.
First, we're
So
finding
Rice Krispies going on here this morning.
this 90-90 position, so that knee is in front of us, bend to leg, pointed or flexed foot, leg in line with our hip. We found the floor with that elbow, keeping the bottom shoulder packed and the head in line with the body. As we did next, we extended that hip forward, squeezing your butt cheek and taking that top arm across your chest. First, we just grew long, so we reached out the tip of our head like the Smartie of our hat and reached out that bottom knee to create length and extension here for 3, 2, then we'll add that rotation. So the head looked at the elbow on the floor and the upper body followed. Then the head rotated open and the upper body rotated open. Keep that back hip, keep that back hip extended and repeat one more time. Head looks at the elbow on the floor and upper body closes up. Head rotates open, upper body rotates open, back hip remains extended. And then we press the floor away, coming back to that seated position, seeing how it feels. Good. Before we go too far, let's rotate a little bit and explore hungry bear. Keeping your front knee as heavy as you can for a second, can you open up that back leg without a rotation through the upper body? Then when you can't lift anymore, start adding a rotation with your upper body, but try to keep your front knee heavy for as long as you can. And when you can no longer keep your front knee heavy, come on into the hungry bear. So right now in our hungry bear, we're sitting up tall. We can have those hands out behind us, gently placed on the floor to lift ourselves into that extension. And we're trying to have a slight anterior tip of the hips as to not be rounded in that low back. Sitting up tall here in our hungry bear, let's just think about driving our knees away from center, trying to stay extended through our chest. Sometimes I like to just rock back and forth, looks like I'm driving the bus. Rock back and forth here, eat your blueberries. Now, instead of being as extended as we can, let's actually do that. And come down, curl into that flex position. Eat your blueberries, and then gently extend out of hibernation. Bring those legs back together. Whew. Give it a little shake.
Excellent. Let's return back to those hands.
Hands.
I hope that's okay that I'm taking that over.
Yes, that was my
Returning
cue.
to the hands with a gentle emphasis on our shoulder blades. Press down into our crawl position. We'll do some crawls later today. And from there, the shoulder blades are retracted as if to squeeze together. From there, next, we will elevate our shoulders. Shrugging up. Then press into the floor, and can the spine stay long, rib cage unchanged, protracting or pressing into the floor through the shoulder. Then pull to the hips, depression of that shoulder blade. Then finish in retraction. Next, we'll pull the shoulder blades down. We'll press forward, gently elevating or shrugging next, finishing in a retraction position, and then again, press through the hands, extend through those hips. Add the shake out. Lots of videos have gone on this past week. We've figured out our Ian and Laurenisms from here.
From here.
If I say from here one more time this hour, everyone gets free coffee. All right, there we go. Awesome. Let's return to those hands and knees where we will next hover like a bear crawl. Fingers, calluses, and hands. Press the hands forward, press the knees back, and pull those femurs into the hip socket, just like Lauren told us to in that lunge. Pull in, press forward through the hands, and gently reset knees to the floor. Set up much the same, but then we'll add the pull tension. Press forward through hands, press back through feet. Hover those knees. 3. Now slowly switch your direction of pull. Keep your tailbone long and pull the hands to those knees. Then casually reset, press the floor away, and extend.
Excellent.
Feel that compression.
Sorry.
And yeah, take us through that next move.
Our next move, we're going to come back down to the floor, sitting on our bums, and find our split position. Let's explore first our middle split, and then we'll quickly do a hurdler after. I know, very exciting.
I like the hurdler.
Hurdler. Okay, so in this splits position, I'd like you again to either have your pointed feet or your flexed feet. Right now we have that slight anterior tip of the hips as to not be rounded in that low back. So if you need to prop up your butt on some pillows, that would be a great idea. Now, as we sit here, I like to have that light grip on the floor. Let's think about our legs and our femurs. Can we rotate, do one at a time. Can we rotate one leg open to try to get the inseam of your pants to face the ceiling? And then bring it back to center. And can you internally rotate that leg? Try not to just rotate from the ankle, actually to not rotate from the ankle, but to rotate from the femur. Let's do that again on the same leg. Inseam faces the ceiling, and then inseam tries to rotate in. Bring that back to center so the kneecap's pointing up, and repeat on the other side. Internal rotation on the femur leg, and then gently rotate open. As you're doing this, you can have your hands in front of you. You can place your hands on your hip holsters and making sure that you're not hiking or twisting, but it's just that leg in the socket, finding that rotation to open up one last time, and then back to center. Now as we're here, sitting up tall, could you rotate both legs open? And you might feel your cheeks squeeze and you grow a little bit, and then relax. Next,
Nice.
Could you lift both your legs and place them a little wider apart?
Oh my goodness.
1 millimeter, try. And let's do that one more time. Rotate, open those femurs, squeezing the cheeks. Whew, and then gently relax. Next, we'll bring our legs into center and come back to that 90-90. We'll go right down to our elbow. So find that elbow again. Back hip remains extended, and let's gently straighten out that front leg. This is our hurdler. You may feel more comfortable staying on your elbow. I'm going to gently press to tall. I'm going to also rotate my body so I'm not crooked.
Don't get crooked.
Don't get crook. From here, we have the straight line, leg out in front of us, pointed or flexed foot. Back hip remains slightly extended. Let's do the same thing we did in that splits position. Rotate open, inseam to the ceiling, to center, internally rotate. One more time each way. Rotate open. So this is your femur bone, that high thigh, and you're thinking about it rotating in the socket. Coming back to center. Square up to that front leg. Extend that back hip for a couple more seconds, pushing it forward. And then we'll bend that knee. And we're going to go transition through our hungry bear. In order to do that, we keep this knee heavy on the floor, as heavy as it goes. We open up that back leg, trying to stay square over our front knee. When we can't stay square any longer, we rotate through the upper body. When we can't keep that front leg heavy, we rotate through our hungry bear. Then that what was the front leg will become your back leg. Your front leg, back leg will become your front leg. Do a little scooch to turn around if you need to see me. And again, we started in that 90-90. Down to the elbow, packed shoulder. Taking that top leg and gently extending it out into our hurdle position, and then either staying or pressing to tall. Now, our two rotations. First, that external rotation, inseam towards the ceiling, trying to keep that knee as straight as you can. And then back to center. And then that internal rotation of the thigh, and back to center. One last time, rotating open, extending the back hip, and then the last time on that internal rotation, and come to center. What do we do from here next?
Little front roll. Roll.
Sorry, I was just forgetting what was next in this routine. We extended our back hip.
Yeah, we just kind of hung out.
We hung out.
We compressed to tall. And then we bent that front knee, I think, from here.
We bent.
Oh! I said it.
From here.
Oops.
If you were listening. We'll come back to that 90-90. And then one last bear, because we did it the other way. So keeping that front knee as heavy as you can. Rotate open that back leg. Followed by the upper body. Followed by the front leg. Ending up driving the bus.
Whew. Next, we will get back to those knees and flex that spine and just encourage one more set of folding and rolling. Hands can set up wide this time. Then take a hand either across the chest or palm up at the alternate hip. And initiate the movement with a chin tuck as to sniff your armpit. Then bend the elbow, look through that little window, aiming to connect the shoulder towards the floor. Once you're at your end range, safely take a breath in, then exhale and press back to that wide Y stance with the hands. Repeat, turn the palm up at the hip, a chin tuck, look towards the window, aiming to get the shoulder towards the ground. Take a breath in and out, and then press back to wide. Repeat again, add on if you know how. I'll talk us through that. As we chin tuck, we initiate the roll. The shoulder connects to the floor. Stay there if that's for you, or using your legs, press yourself over into that nice roll. Reset again, take a breath, and maybe one last time, same effort. So for setting up in that wide Y, turn a hand up to the hip, look, sniff, roll through the window, then use the legs a little bit, press yourself through, and Lauren wants to get rolling here, so I'll get out of her way and roll on through.
Oh, it feels so good in all those
that
positions.
plow-like position, heck yeah. And there we go.
Ooh.
Awesome.
Excellent. Time to do a quick core warm-up.
Ooh, yeah.
Sounds great. So let's stay on the floor for a couple more seconds and we'll make our way to standing. First, let's get it fired up in our plank and down dog position. So with our hands placed on the floor, underneath our shoulders, we'll step our feet back into our plank. Here we go. Tuck toes, lift hips, tilt the tailbone to the ceiling, and then gently tuck it under, squeezing the butt cheeks and pulling your hands towards your feet. Create that handstand-like tension. So pull your hands to your feet, squeeze your cheeks, brace your core for 3, 2, now tip the tailbone to the ceiling, push the hands forward, lifting the hips, and slowly come to that A-frame or down dog shape. Prioritize that long spine over pressing those heels to the floor. Take a couple seconds here, and then we're going to pull ourselves back forward into that plank. 3, 2, pull yourself through to that plank, tucking the hips under, squeezing the cheeks, bracing the core for 5, 4, 3. One more time, tip of the tailbone, lift the hips. Take a couple seconds here. As we're here in this A-frame, let's take a single leg and flick the floor away, pointing it up to the sky. Now, as we're doing this, try to keep those hips square to the floor. Don't let them open. Is that knee straight? Could it reach a little more? And then bring it back down to your A-frame. Repeat on the other side. Foot flicks the floor away. We lift it up towards the ceiling, pressing the heel heavy or towards the floor. Bring that foot down. Pull yourself to the plank. Knees come down. Take a second off. Let's do one more banana from here. We'll end up lying, from here. We'll end up lying on our back.
Old habits.
Floor. And it's hard because you have to correct yourself every single time. So we're lying on the floor. Knees are bent, feet are flat on the floor. Arms are extended at your side body. Palms facing up. Right now, we feel that spine and the way it's touching the floor. We're going to try to keep that position as we go here. So no jamming that low back down. Right. Next, let's tuck the chin and lift the head and shoulders up off the floor. Keeping that same low back position as to not ram it down. Keep that core brace for 4, 3, 2, gently roll down out of that. We'll repeat adding on if you'd like to, or continue to just hold that position. Here we go. Ribs to hips to lift off, embrace, hold. Either stay or bring a knee up over your chest, if that's okay. Another leg up over your hips, I should say. Keeping that position, could we extend a single leg away from center and then bring it back in? And extend the other leg away from center and bring it back in. And now either continue that or extend both legs away from center and hold for 10 more seconds. Point your toes, squeeze your cheeks, keep your legs tight together. Keep lifting the rib cage off the floor for 3, 2, everything pulls back in and then gently relaxes. We'll roll over, do a push-up, make our way to standing, and take it away from there. Flip over. Push-up position. Tuck the hips, squeeze. Everything leaves the floor at once. Tipping the tailbone up. Pressing the heels towards the floor. Don't prioritize that. Take your time. Walk your hands in and fold yourself, stack yourself up to tall, knee tall.
And if you're quick like me, go slow like Lauren. Slower is harder, allowing yourselves to articulate through those joint spaces in between. We'll get to some crawling, but also some of those additional hip exercises. So Lauren, why don't you grab that chair from the back? We'll do some legs and then some crawls. Need a little bit of space, not too much room. The crawls can be done from a stationary position as well, but here I highly recommend we use that balance aid to focus on the control of the hips. First, start pulling up a single leg in that coup de pied or little flamingo stance down low. Pull the knee that's elevated towards the midline. We don't need to overcross, but really hug center. Gently, can we climb the hip, knee towards the front, pulling the knee, just like Lauren did in that core hold, towards the hips. For 10 seconds additionally here, pull the femur in. That elevated leg, just like the lunges, pull in, squeeze, tucking under your standing leg butt cheek. Hold for 3 seconds longer, approaching 10 or so, and then press down, aiming to press the hip through to get tall. Stay where you are, same thing on the other leg. Pull up, ankle to that toe, to that inner ankle bone, hugging towards center. As we continue to climb or flex the hip, it's imperative to pull the femur in, compressing in the hip, and the other leg is tucking under, extending the glute. Glutes, press through, kneecaps pull up, 3 seconds longer, and then press down with control. If we could do that just one more time, let's start down low, pulling up. Then open the knee towards the side. It doesn't have to go high here, but same idea. Pull the femur into the hip as you climb the leg a little bit. The leg that's elevated is in a tipped back position, while the hip you're standing on is the opposite, or the tucking under, extending the hip. Hold for a second or two longer, then with your muscles of the adductors, pull the knee back into center, press down the leg, and finish tall. Same effort on the other side. Pull up in the front first, trace the knee center, just like in our movement clocks. Then open to the side next. Stay low, there's no rush to get high here, but climb if you're allowed to. Keep connected to the standing leg with the foot. And the leg you're standing on is in that tucked under position, and the leg that's elevated is trying to tip that tailbone back, working in opposition for stability. Then return by pulling, adducting the knee back to center, press down, finish tall, add a little shake, and next we will be going into those crawls. Lauren, take us to the zoo.
Take us to the zoo. All right, well, there's no better place to start at the zoo than with, not what you're gonna think, a duck.
Ooh.
The duck will walk for a little bit and then we'll turn it to an elephant crawl. So right now in our duck walk, we're gonna sink low. Not too low yet. And then could you walk forward and back over those toes, staying the same height? I don't know if you've seen a duck walk backwards, but they do today. Toe ball heel as we walk backwards to where we started. Press yourself into the floor to extend. Take a second off. We're going to do one more duck walk. Could we get even lower? Here we go. Pull yourself down. You could come all the way down. Your heels might lift off. Play with that a little bit and walk again. Forward. Trying to keep those knees straight in front of you. Don't let them circle or wing around, but keep them underneath those hips in the forward pattern, the backward steps. Once your legs are burning, press through to tall and give it a little shake.
That works.
Sorry, I see something shiny.
Ooh.
Then we saw the ducks. They were next to the big elephants. Let's do that now. Roll ourselves down.
We're at the watering hole here.
Yeah, like watering hole. And the ducks know how to move out of the way. Either hinging or folding yourself forward, walking yourself out into your A-frame that we practiced early, or tipping the tailbone towards the ceiling. Opposite hand and foot will take a step at the same time. As we do this, really try to use the floor. So palm leaves the floor, fingers flick away. Palm leaves the floor, fingers flick. And then when you accept the floor, fingertips, callus line, palms. Taking a couple steps forward, my watering hole is small, so I'm also going to walk backwards to where I came from. Once you're back to about that starting position, walk those hands to the feet, bring yourself to center, and slowly stack to tall. You can't do it too quick. Otherwise, you'd get dizzy if you were an elephant.
Or a human. Us humans have those dizzy issues too. But using balance aid for balance and to, if you are dizzy, grab it on. Let's repeat that exercise a little out to the back this time though, and then out to the side. Keep your knees parallel this time, as allowed, and flick the foot out the back, bending on the knee. In this position, our hips are both posteriorly tucked, tucking under, extending those hips. Now gently reach the bent leg to the back. Millimeters of effort go a long way. From there, foot connects towards the standing leg knee with the knee going out to the side. Hold for a second. From next, we will pull back into center, adducting that hip, kneecap faces forward, and now press back, tucking under the hips, extending once more. Extend, 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 extend. Then turn the corner. The foot stays underneath the body. The knee goes wide. Connect the foot back to that standing leg. Adduct. Pull into center. Press down and stand tall. Alternating that effort on the other side. Practicing stability and mobility. Balance, aid at our side. Pull up, just like Lauren did, bend the knee to the back, kicking or bending the knee. Both hips in this exercise, again, are tucked under posteriorly, and then the bent knee extends to the back with careful control. Is it the hamstring? Is it the glute? Let's talk about that in a second. And then the foot comes around to that standing leg knee, the knee points side, and then the muscles of the inner groin, hip, adduct back to center. Hold here for a second. Out the back, it's likely your hamstrings are going hi-ya. That's okay. Try to tone them down as we extend the hip to the back and use your bum cheek to reach that leg to the back, not the hamstrings. Really hard to do. Play with that as you can. Next, though, it's that foot that connects to the standing leg with the knee going wide, and then pull back into center. When the leg presses down, we get tall.
Sorry.
And those shakes are great there too.
Next, we're back at the zoo. What do we see? A lizard.
A lizard.
So we should have been like this. What do we see? Anyway, well, I'm going to hinge this time. I've been folding, so I'm going to hinge myself down here. Do either, don't do a hybrid of both. We're walking ourselves out into that high plank position, and we might add on a little bit to our lizard today, making it a little more core-like. The first lizard, though, is going to be the original lizard, which from this plank position, we take a foot and we bring it up outside that hand. Packed shoulders, extended spine. Right now, what I'd like you to do is think about reaching energy out that back heel and keeping your back knee nice and straight. Now shoot energy out your front knee, so you're getting split in half. Now pull that tension back in, so much so you could lift that front foot off the floor and place it back where you got it. Repeating on the other side. The foot will come up by the hand. We're long in that spine. We reach out of that front kneecap and out of that back heel. Feeling that split through. I feel it through that adductor, hip flexor. Then we pull back into center, trying to lift the foot with control and place it back where we got it. Let's do that one more time. Foot comes up, reaching out through center, breathing. Lift, pulling that tension back in and place it back down. And one more time on the other side. Foot in your hand. Split yourself by reaching away from center. Then pull the tension back in and bring that foot in. We're going to hold this plank for a couple more seconds. This time, we're going to flick the floor with a single leg. Bring that knee towards the chest and hold. This is our new lizard. New era. Knee towards the chest, hold. 3, 2, place it down, switch sides, flick. Compress in the socket. Bring that knee in as tight as you can for 3, 2, foot goes down, tailbone tips, back to the elephant, then through the elephant exhibit to the hinge exhibit, and press to tall or fold.
Hinges or folds, but no hybrid animals at this zoo. So keep your ligers and tigons at home. We'll continue with some more hips. On your bar, on my bar.
Yes, sir.
Here we go. This time, however, it's that full circle shape. Let's start by drawing a single leg up. Touch the inner ankle bone, pull the ankle towards the knee. Then keep the standing hip facing forward. Check. Knee on the elevated leg faces the side. Then we'll roll in on that hip. Hungry bear action from standing. Then extension of the hip towards the back. And then roll in that hip socket to pull back to the midline. Pull your knees to parallel. And with care, control, straighten the knee to standing tall. Let's reverse 1 repetition the other direction. As much as you can, the hips tuck under and the leg bends away from the floor. Press back, push forward on your standing leg, back on your elevated one, and then navigate those corners as we turn out the back, knee side, foot under the hip. Then pull the knee back to the front, press down to the foot, stay tall. Repeat 1 more time on this side. Pull up. Either the ankle in the dorsiflex position like a karate or ballet points are appropriate. Next, open to the side with those hips pressing forward. Internally rotate on the hip. Ankle lifts up, inseam turns down. Then navigate that back corner as we extend and rotate, smushing that femur back into your midline, extending on the knee. Then 1 last time, we'll bend the knee this time. Reach to the back, extending, pressing forward through the standing leg. Then the knee goes wide to the side. Pull back in front. Press into the ground, extending the hips to stay tall. Shakes and wiggles, 2 reps on one side. We have 2 hips, so 2 reps on the other side as well. The standing leg is tucked under. The elevated leg continues to compress in the hip, pulling the femur in. From the midline in the front, we'll open that knee to the side. The knee stays in approximately the same position as we then rotate in on that hip, then extend and adduct, pulling together, and extension through the knee to reset. With quads parallel, hips tucked under, we flex the knee or flick the floor away with a knee bend. Then reach to the back. A little bit goes a long way. Then we navigate the turn, and the foot comes underneath the hip with the knee wide. Then pull the knee back from the side to the front. Press down, aiming to get tall with firm butt cheeks. 1 more time to the front, we pull up. The knee flexes forward, pulling the femur in on the hip, then opening to the side. Roll in on the hip. That's a small range for most of us. Then reach to the back. Pull in. Once your knees touch, extend the leg to tall. Final repetition, flex. It's a kick. Extend that hip. Glute squeezes. Rotate in the socket as the knee goes wide, foot comes under. Then pull into center yet again and press into the floor, resuming your tall stand. Shakes and wiggles are allowed from there. We're done with that balance aids. Let's just put that off to the side here, Lauren. And what do you think? Squats.
I don't know what to think. Okay.
Yeah, I haven't done any squats yet today. Let's just finish with a couple quick sets of some squats.
And 1 more exhibit.
Yeah, we got to go to that zoo still.
Okay. I have an exhibit for us.
Okay, go.
It's one we haven't visited in a while, and it's I think it's the emus. The ostrich.
Ostrich.
The ostriches. Sorry, ostriches and emus.
Flightless bird variation.
Watch first. I'll show you, and then we'll join together. I'm going to tuck and fold myself forward and down like I'm in that alleyway, trying not to push the hips back and trying to stay as tight as I can to the body. You may start this with some bent knees. You may try to keep your knees nice and straight. We're going to use the floor, absorbing our hands, and try to pop ourselves up. So this is the action. And as we get going, we might add some steps. Bloop. Sound fixed. Optional.
That looks like an ostrich to me, Lauren. I don't know.
And then we'll bring those feet under us.
And stack back up.
Pop ourselves up.
Excellent.
Oh, is the emu coming out of its hole?
Let's do it.
Ostrich. Okay. Fold ourselves forward.
The emu's about running, you know? We got to make
Right. Okay, we're on the ostrich. Tuck our chin. Roll ourselves forward. Remembering that wall's behind you and in front of you. Come on down. Be gentle. If you don't touch the floor and you have an imaginary floor, that would also be fine too. You could soften, bend those knees. But as we're here in a stationary position, could you just reach towards the floor? Palms, fingertips, palms, fingertips, fingertips, palms. Now, as you go, if you'd like, adding some steps. Pushing the floor, being fairly loosey-goosey in that upper body. Absorbing, landing, a couple more steps forward. Ostriches don't go backward. I don't know if you know that fact about them. I also don't know if it's a fact. 3, 2, and then when you're ready, use those muscles to stack yourself up to tall.
Lauren is pretty amazed with those animals walking backwards. She saw a dog walking backwards the other day.
That is
It was kind of incredible.
You ever seen a dog?
Let me know if you've ever
walking
seen a
backwards?
dog walk backwards. Probably doesn't happen. Probably turns. Very challenging skill walking backwards. Keep it up for our health
Keep
and
it up,
safety.
dog.
Keep it up, dog. And until then, we'll squat. Pull down. Here I am in my wide stance, that's second or sumo, and we'll pull ourselves down to your low position. Then just press away on 2 feet, standing tall for a quick set. Do you feel that press away through the feet, the extension of the hips, the kneecaps pulled up, the core braced? Lots to think about. Focus on one thing, find tension. Pull down, press away to center, and extending those hips. Adding our weight transfer, let's introduce and progress towards that Shiko style squat. Pulling in, pressing away, finding one foot, and balance, perhaps a balance aid at your side. Then extend the leg, accept the floor toe ball heel, and then power back away, holding your balance yet again. Point, accept toe ball heel. 2 more repetitions each side, perhaps climbing the leg a little at a time if you can. Point, pow, toe ball heel, and then press to balance. Climb, extend, toe ball heel, knee bend, knee stiff on the standing leg.
You said one more each side.
2, did I? 1 more. Climb, point, toe ball heel. 1 more time, balance, climb, point, squat, and power back up on 2 feet. Shake it out. A little bit of this and a little bit of that.
We transition from the elephants to the circus tent. So we are going to, that was a very smooth transition. You can either revisit your crawls again that we did. We did our elephant, we did our emu, we did our lizard. Or I'd like to do a couple kick-ups from my tripod position. I'll do a couple this time, and then maybe a little step in next time.
So Lauren will get it in your tripod, and if you're ready, join her. Or if not, listen to me first, watch Lauren, we'll cue it together, and then you and I will get a chance to do it in a second. Hands are gripping, shoulders are over wrists. So many parts of that warm-up carry through, and sometimes you just can't wait. You got to kick up. So take your time. Little baby airs here. Little baby airs, thank you very much. Take your time getting up, but build your endurance, build your strength, build your awareness, and look to approach your handstand. And if you nail it, get it. Tuck under though. Where your toes.
Aye.
Tough. It's tough.
All right, now Ian's turn. So that tripod position, hands are gripping the floor, spread out. You're gonna stack your shoulders over top of those wrists and then use the foot as we talked about to flick. Just as we did in that down dog, you're flicking the floor away, pointing those toes, growing up, trying to keep that rib to hip connection that we practice in that hollow body hold, breathing, and only going as high or as much as you feel comfortable. Once you've done a couple reps, press the floor away, all the way back up to tall. And be sure to shake it out in between.
Shake it out. Let's repeat that 1 more time. Tripod kick-ups. Take your time. This I go, you go style gives you enough rest, or at least a little rest in between. Kick, Point those toes just like Lauren said, and land gracefully. Toe point and control. Lauren's taking off on one leg and jinxing her, but trying to land on the other. Counterbalance, so we end up in that shape, or just like Lauren did right there, employ that scissor technique for tension.
Give yourself a little break, and when you're ready, other person will go. Biggest thing here is to grip the floor with your hands. Your fingertips are absorbing the floor, that callus line, and then that palm of the hand as well. But it's not just that direct pressure straight down. Stack those shoulders over top. Think about that hollow position and just that light scissor action. It is good to practice both legs. It's obviously going to be harder on one side than the other, but try to practice both.
Ooh. Little bits go a long way. One more time in that Chico style squat. 3 reps each side. Sumo stance feet. Pull yourself down. Press away to a single leg balance. Use your 8 as you need. Climb. Point. Toe ball heel. Press. Balance. Climb. Point. Toe ball heel. We could break some of those rules of the ballet as we extend those hips and on our little reachy side bend. But as Lauren was about to say, because I felt it, keep your knee straight, Ian. Balance on that straight leg. Explore the elevated leg shape. And one more time each way, climb. Stiffen the bottom leg for control. Accept the floor. And last time, powering through. Reaching, squatting, powering back up to tall. Whew, there we go. How about 1 minute of craziness there, Lauren?
Okay. 1 minute of craziness means we put 1 minute on the clock, and for 1 minute you do a plank, do an elephant, do a bear crawl, do a lizard. Don't do them all, pick one. And have some fun. We're gonna try out our handstands, breathe, watch, take a break, do what you need to do. But 1 minute of fun starts in about 5 seconds.
Oh my goodness.
Take your time. Find your position, whatever animal, move, shape you're feeling in 3, 2, a minute of free time play. Take your time breathing. We're about 30 seconds more here.
Oh. Knowing when to keep going, knowing when to just say, hey, that's a great effort for today. And when you push those boundaries, you might find a gorgeous looking repetition, just like in Lauren's handstand here. Take your time, finish your set. I can see and feel that amazing tension Lauren's showing here. Fingertips are gripping, elbows super straight, toes to the ceiling.
Took a while to get there.
Very well done. As it does, it takes a long time to work on those skills. So keep the mobility drills like wrists, the arm strengthening drills like our planks and crawls, and always have fun in your workout. Any day of the week, not just here, live at Saturdays at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on YouTube. So to our patrons, our members, and those YouTubers at large, thank you for joining us live here or in the archive. Every week we'll be here. Please like, please subscribe, become a member at barsandbells.com/membership.
Thanks for joining. We'll see you next week. Take care, stay strong. Let's train soon.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.